Good afternoon. This is Larry Tentarelli with today's edition of Your Daily 5 for StockCharts.com. We're going to go over 5 of the most promising stock charts on my screen. Just a brief introduction, you can find me on Twitter and YouTube at Blue Chip Daily. Also, you can visit our website at Blue Chip Daily, and we'll get started right with the chart. So I've brought with me today 5 charts that we have open positions in currently, and that I think they're set up for continued higher trends. So we'll start with AMD in the technology sector, $264 billion market cap. So what you're going to notice in the 5 charts that I'm going to share with you today is that they're all in very pronounced uptrends. So AMD, a couple things on the screen. First thing, it did break out today to a new all-time high. So could be getting extended in the shorter term, 75 daily RSI, but our time frame is much more of an intermediate to longer term time frame. So I'm looking for 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12-month moves and longer if they're working higher. So AMD is trading over 4 rising moving averages. So that indicates an uptrend on multiple time frames. We can see it's had 2 very high volume breakout days over the past 2 days, broke out to new highs today. And just by looking at the chart, 132, 133, this line in here is a key support line. We can see 132, 135, 133, and then the 50-day moving average at 132. So anything over 132 keeps this entire intermediate term uptrend intact. So we've been long since November. There could always be some pullback, some back and fill, but we remain long in this position and expect it to eventually test higher with the rest of the NASDAQ 100. Chart number 2, NVIDIA, also in the technology sector, also in semiconductors. Now, I will say that we have the technology sector as our top-ranked sector again this year. It was our top-ranked sector in 2023. And longtime viewers of Your Daily 5 have seen me post this chart quite a few times over the past year. It remains one of our favorite positions. And same thing as AMD. It just broke out to a new all-time high. Now, the big breakout level here for me was 510. So NVIDIA failed at 502, 505, 504. So generally, I like to see a new high of at least 1% over the prior high. So 505 was the prior high. So 510 was the big breakout level. And we've got the same thing. 4 rising moving averages, big base breakout over 510. So the markets can be choppy. We've got options expiration this week. We've obviously still in the middle of the Fed process, but overall, on this chart, any pullbacks over 510 to 520 keeps this entire breakout intact. We're holding a position here from last May. And on the weekly chart, which I don't have the weekly here with me, but the weekly chart targets anywhere from 600 to 625 in the overall trend. Now, once again, not a short-term market call. There can always be a little bit of back and fill, but the trend is set up very nicely for NVIDIA. Chart number 3, we're going to move to the communication services sector, and we're going to take a look at Spotify. So Spotify, same thing as the prior 2 charts. It's trading over 4 rising moving averages. So we've got an uptrend on multiple time frames. 185 is the first support level. So we can see it ran up to 182 in July and then failed. ran up to 182 again in November, pulled back a little bit, big gap higher. Spotify had announced that they were going to reduce their labor force, which cuts their expenses. So it had a big gap, pulled back right to 185 support, filled that gap, and now it started to break out higher. This is a new multi-year high, rising 50-day at 187. So one of the key things that I always like to see is I like to see the 50-day moving average move up past a key support level. So we're going to call 185 support here. We've got the 50-day over 185. This chart is breaking out today, and we also expect this to continue to trend higher. Chart number 4, we're going to move to the healthcare sector. Eli Lilly, this is the leader in the healthcare sector, $583 billion market cap. And a few key things, trading over 4 rising moving averages. It made a new all-time high just a few days ago, pulling back today over support. That's fine. I always expect, anytime there's a breakout, I always expect a little bit of back and fill, which is often a good place for a continuation buy point. But if we take a look at Lilly, this traded in a wide range, we'll call it 600 to 540. Then it failed twice at 628, 624. So once it broke out over 630, triggered new highs. This is one of our favorite long positions as well, trending higher. And this chart continues to set up well just by looking at the chart. Really 550 to 560. If there was any pullback, whether it was in the market or on this chart itself, I'd want to see it hold over 550 to 560. But where Eli Lilly is right now with today's pullback, I think it's set up fine exactly where it is. We often use these pullbacks to add on to positions, and that continues to set up well. Chart number 5, this is a recent new position for us, and it's a new chart that I'm sharing with the StockCharts.com viewers. So Celsius Holdings in the consumer staples sector, $14 billion market cap. They make energy and fitness drinks. So it's a very popular drink, but we'll take a look at the chart. And this is a new position for us over the past few weeks. It's also one of my favorite charts. So what we'll see with Celsius, trading over 3 rising moving averages. The 100-day is a little bit flat, but rising 20, rising 50, rising 200-day. Excuse me. Bullish recent 20, 50-day cross to the upside. And what I really wanted to see here is I wanted to see this start to clear the $56 and change level, because that gets it over all the moving averages. And there was a prior key level, 55 here, 56, but then it failed at 55, 54, and 54. So one key thing that I like to see is for prior resistance to get cleared. So once we cleared $56 on this chart, it cleared short-term prior resistance, cleared over the 100-day moving average, and now it's got a very, very constructive chart. Big breakout, 45 to 68, pulled back all the way to the 200-day, and we can see that green line, 200-day moving average, provided key support, which longer-term uptrends do hold at the 200-day. $61 and change today. This is a new position for us that we've been adding to. And I expect, based on earnings, I expect that this chart could set up for new highs. So that's 5 charts that we looked at today in three or four different sectors, all set up well in uptrends. So I hope that you enjoyed the video, and we look forward to seeing you online soon.